The latest bombshell revelations have laid bare a Britain caught in the grip of despair, with cracks in leadership, trust, and optimism threatening to break the country apart. A shocking survey of over 2,400 Britons paints a grim picture. Half the population believes 2025 will be worse than 2024, and only 23% dare to hope for a better future. Worse still, nearly one-third of respondents think Sir Keir Starmer could resign as Prime Minister by the end of next year. The question on everyone's mind is whether this is a symptom of a broader collapse or the beginning of the end for the man who promised change and seems poised to deliver little more than chaos. The survey exposes a nation not only pessimistic but deeply divided. While Labour supporters cling to some semblance of optimism, with 48% believing 2025 might improve, this hope appears exclusive to the party faithful. A full 30% of Labour voters still foresee worse days ahead. Among Tories and Reform UK voters, the picture is even bleaker. 64% and 65%, respectively, predict a future darker than the past. For a country battered by years of political upheaval, economic stagnation, and international uncertainty, these numbers suggest a collapse in trust that transcends party lines. At the centre of this storm is Sir Keir Starmer, whose once promising change agenda now seems to be a millstone around his neck. The survey reveals that over two-thirds of Britons doubt Starmer's ability to deliver on two of his key promises, reducing migrant crossings and cutting NHS waiting lists. These were the issues upon which Labour built its platform, and their failure to deliver is rapidly eroding faith in the government. Many now question whether Labour's promises were ever realistic, or if they were nothing more than an elaborate marketing ploy to ride the wave of public discontent. Luke Trill of More in Common, the organisation behind the survey, doesn't mince words. He describes a nation consumed by gloom, unable to imagine a brighter future. Things have felt so bad for so long that people are finding it difficult to believe they'll get better, Trill said. His analysis points to a dangerous combination of broken promises and missed opportunities, leaving the public disillusioned and distrustful. But it's not just domestic issues weighing on the public's mind. Whispers of a dramatic reset in Britain's relationship with the European Union have emerged, sparking fury and suspicion across the political spectrum. Recent leaks reveal Brussels is demanding significant concessions in exchange for a softer trading relationship, including access to British fishing waters, the restoration of free movement for under-30s, and even a return of power to European judges. For many, these demands represent nothing short of a betrayal of Brexit itself, and Starmer's government faces mounting backlash as speculation grows about their willingness to concede. Shankar Singham, a former Brexit advisor, has been vocal in his criticism, warning that alignment with EU standards could severely constrain Britain's ability to lower costs and improve household incomes. Worse, it could jeopardise the UK's membership in the Comprehensive and Progressive Agreement for Trans-Pacific Partnership, CPTPP, and torpedo hopes for a much-needed trade deal with the United States. These alliances were supposed to be the silver lining of Brexit, a way for Britain to chart its own course on the global stage. Now, they risk becoming collateral damage in Labour's desperate attempt to appease Brussels. For Britain's fishing communities, these leaked demands hit particularly hard. They were promised a brighter future, one where control of their waters would be restored. Instead, they face the prospect of once again becoming pawns in a high-stakes political game. Anger is brewing in coastal towns, where many feel abandoned by a government more concerned with optics than outcomes. Starmer's camp, for its part, insists that any proposed reset with the EU is purely pragmatic. A government spokesperson defended the approach, arguing that reducing trade barriers and strengthening cooperation would ultimately benefit the UK economy. But critics remain unconvinced, accusing Labour of pandering to Brussels and undermining British sovereignty in the process. With public sentiment turning against him, Starmer's ability to walk this political tightrope is increasingly in doubt. Adding to the government's woes is a storm brewing across the Atlantic. Elon Musk, the billionaire tech magnate and self-proclaimed disruptor, has ignited a firestorm with his aggressive defense of the H-1B visa program. Musk, who himself came to the United States on an H-1B visa, launched a blistering attack on MAGA critics, declaring war on those opposing skilled immigration. "The reason I'm in America," Musk tweeted, "along with so many critical people who built SpaceX, Tesla, and hundreds of other companies, is because of H-1B." His words have sent shockwaves through Trump's camp, exposing deep divisions between the business elite and the MAGA faithful. The backlash was immediate and fierce. MAGA hardliners accused Musk of betraying American workers and prioritizing corporate interests over national values. Conservative activist Laura Loomer claimed she was censored for criticizing Musk, fueling accusations of Silicon Valley's overreach into free speech. "This is anti-American behavior by tech oligarchs," she posted. "What happened to free speech?" Meanwhile, Musk's co-chair on Trump's advisory board, Vivek Ramaswamy, poured fuel on the fire with a scathing critique of American culture. In a controversial social media post, Ramaswamy accused the US of venerating mediocrity over excellence. His remarks, though intended to spark debate, have instead deepened divisions, with many conservatives feeling insulted by his tone. Trump, caught in the middle of this escalating feud, has remained conspicuously silent. With his political base increasingly at odds with his business allies, the former president faces a delicate balancing act as he prepares for a potential return to the White House. For Musk, however, the stakes couldn't be clearer. He's fighting to preserve the very system that allowed him to rise to power, even if it means alienating a significant portion of Trump's base. Back in Britain, the public's pessimism isn't limited to domestic and political woes. Global crises loom large, with 36% of Britons fearing that conflicts in Ukraine and the Middle East could escalate into full-scale world war. Many believe these conflicts will continue well into 2026, adding to an already volatile international landscape. Meanwhile, technological anxieties are on the rise. Half of those surveyed believe artificial intelligence will cause widespread job losses, and a majority expect record-breaking climate disasters in 2025. For a country already reeling from political turmoil and economic stagnation, these global challenges only add to the sense of unease. Yet, amid the chaos, there is one curious silver lining. 56% of Britons still believe Starmer will remain Prime Minister through the end of 2025. This isn't an endorsement of his leadership, so much as a grim acknowledgement that no one else appears capable of stepping into the void. The road ahead is fraught with peril, and for Starmer, every decision carries the weight of potential disaster. From Brexit betrayals to immigration wars, climate crises to economic stagnation, the challenges are mounting faster than his government can respond. For the British public, the question is no longer whether their leaders can deliver on their promises. It's whether they can even keep the country afloat. As 2024 draws to a close, Britain stands at a crossroads. The cracks in its political, economic and social foundations are widening, and the public's patience is wearing thin. The coming year promises to be one of reckoning, where the decisions made, or not made, could shape the nation's future for generations to come. Will 2025 be the year Britain begins to heal, or the year it finally collapses under the weight of its own contradictions? The answer remains uncertain, but one thing is clear. The scandals, betrayals and failures that have brought us to this point will not be forgotten anytime soon.